I'm State Representative John Kavanagh, and I'd like to talk to you today about the crisis at the border. I first came to the legislature in 2006, and at that time, the border crisis was big news and a big problem. Those of you who were here in Phoenix area back then might remember hundreds of illegal immigrants all over the streets in front of Lowe's and Home Depot and Pruitt's Furniture Store, disrupting traffic. Thousands and thousands of border crossers illegally coming into the country. And the state responded at the time by passing the iconic SB 1070, a bill which I co-sponsored and even wrote part of. And that was the famous bill that got our local law enforcement involved in inquiring and holding illegal immigrants, made it illegal for sanctuary cities to exist in Arizona, and did a whole bunch of other great things to stop illegal immigration. And it did have an effect. However, the Biden administration has reopened the floodgates of illegal immigration by sending a clear message across the world that if you want to come here and you can make it to the border, you won't be stopped by our Border Patrol. They'll be your welcome wagon. They'll take you in, they'll take you to shelter, and then they'll drive you to an airport and relocate you somewhere else in the country. And we're talking about illegal immigrants. We're not talking about people who are legitimate asylum seekers. Those are people who are fleeing political persecution and the like. Being an economic refugee, looking for a better life economically, is not grounds for asylum. But these people have been trained to say the right trigger words to trigger the asylum process, which can drag on for years. And the Biden administration lets them into the country, gives them legal status, and then doesn't even bother when they never show up for their hearings, or gives them even a free cell phone. It's insanity. Now, a lot of people want the Title 42 protections, which require these people to stay in Mexico until they have a hearing, to stay in place, and so do I. But keep in mind that Title 42 is a temporary COVID hold on keeping those people on the Mexico side of the border that can only be justified while COVID is a crisis. And that is not going to be something that lasts for long, even assuming it's even still here now. What we need to say, what we need to demand of the president and our congressional people is not to continue Title 42, but immediately replace Title 42 with the Trump administration remain in place rule. That's the same rule that makes these illegals stay in Mexico until they have time for a hearing as Title 42. But it doesn't rely on COVID being present to have it exist. So let's have the long-term Trump remain in place policy as U.S. policy. And once we do that, it'll deter illegals from even coming close to the border because they want to get in immediately and get jobs immediately. And that's what not having these policies does. So from now on, say Title 42 is fine for now, but the permanent solution is remain in place. That's what Trump did, and it worked. And that's what we need to say to our friends, to the media, in letters to the editor, to President Biden, and to our congressional delegation. I'm State Representative John Kavanagh, and this is another edition of Kavanagh's Corner, an emergency edition of Kavanagh's Corner. Thanks for listening.